I'm already a millionaire in my mind. I may not see it yet, but I believe it now. In the same way a seed is called by its finished form, I'm accepting my divine inheritance as a child of God. I'm meant to have life and have it more abundantly. My treasure on earth shall correspond directly to the treasure in the heaven of my mind. Abundance is my birthright. Ashe, amen, and so it is. My name is Jullien Gordon, and I'm author of Rich and Righteous: Spiritual Secrets to Mastering Money, Manifestation, and Your Mind. After becoming a multimillionaire through real estate investing, I was moved by God at the beginning of the pandemic to share my money mindset that allowed me to quit my job in January of 2009 at the bottom of the last recession and achieve full financial freedom. I own my mental real estate before I own any physical real estate. This book is like some of your favorites: Rich Dad, Poor Dad, As a Man Thinketh, Think and Grow Rich, and the Bible all in one. But the divine downloads and thoughts that are in here are 100% original and came to me over a 6-month period at the beginning of the pandemic. This book is normally $100 on Amazon if you went there right now, but I want to give you access to it for free by inviting you to our next reading group. Yes, the reading group is 100% free. Every weekday for 100 days straight, I'll be reading and discussing the 10 money commandments in the book that make money come to you in your life easily, more frequently, and abundantly. And it will take about 30 to 45 minutes as we read 3 to 5 pages per day until we finish the book and reprogram your mind around money. Why 100 days? Well, if you are 30 years old, you've lived for 10,950 days. And we have to deprogram and reprogram the negative, scarcity-based money mindset society has taught you. And I believe I can do that in just 1% of the time in about 100 days. I'm done with shelf help. You know, when you buy a book to change your life, but you never read it, it just sits on your bookshelf and collects a whole bunch of dust. We off that. When is the last time you had an author actually read their book to you out loud because they cared about you getting the information in your soul? I'm not just here to get this book in your hands. More importantly, I want to get it in your head and your heart, because that's where the real transformation occurs, in the conscious and the subconscious mind. As scripture says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is not the type of book that you just read once. To renew the subconscious mind requires repetition over and over and over. So if you joined us last time, I encourage you to join us again. I myself have read this book over 10 times already. So click the link to join our next reading group, and when you sign up, I'm going to give you the first 2 chapters of the book for absolutely free on what is money and abundance is your birthright, so that you can start your journey to a more abundant life today. Rich Rising, welcome to another day of Read Rich and Righteous. We're reading Rich and Righteous: Spiritual Secrets to Mastering Money, Manifestation, in Your Mind. We have an amazing read today as we now enter into money commandment number 9, which is how the rich and righteous attract money. And we're going to talk about wanting versus needing. Wanting versus needing. And we're going to get straight into it because today's reading is a scripture that people say often, but they don't really understand what it means. And that is, thou shalt not want. Thou shalt not want. So we're going to start our journey on page 340 today. We're going to start our journey on page 340. Today is day 63, and I see people typing in their consistency scores, and I see some people in the 60s, some people in the 50s, some people have joined us later on in this journey, and I see some 20s, and that's okay. That's okay. You know that you can go to richrightnow.com, and sign up for the challenge for absolutely free. And on the thank you page, you can get the ebook or the physical copy of the book. And when you purchase either one, you get all of the replays and recordings that you may have missed so that you can catch up. We are working our way to our 72nd reading, which will be on December 9th, and that's going to be our Rich and Righteous graduation. You can also sign up for that for absolutely free at rrgraduation.com, rrgraduation.com. We'll be hosting 150 people in Atlanta live, and everybody who comes to that in person will get my thank account, which is my 91-day gratitude journal and program. That's our way of just celebrating each other. This is our opportunity to come and actually meet the community that you see in chat every single morning. You get to meet those people in person. We'll be reading the final chapter. We'll be doing test of monies, not testimonies, but test of monies. I'll be doing a book signing, and we'll also be doing an exercise from the Rituals Workbook. And so pull up to that, whether you can come in person Atlanta or if you'll be live streamed. I look forward to seeing you there for our last and final reading. Okay. And that's literally only about 2 weeks away, only 2 weeks away. All right. So I want to get into today's reading because we got quite a few pages to get through today. So everybody turn to page 340 and type "I got it" when you got it. Type "I got it" when you got it. All right, cool. So the title of the chapter is "Thou Shalt Not Want." thou shalt not want, right? We say this, it's in the Lord's Prayer, and people say it all the time, but we're going to give some different meaning to it today. So the scripture comes from Psalm 23:1. It says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I shall not want. Okay? The Bible says, thou shalt not want. When you want something, you stay in a state of wanting. When you want something, you stay in the state of wanting. As Michael Beckwith says, the universe hears I want as I don't have. You see how synonymous those two things are? I want, and it is also recognizing I don't have. Y'all see that? Okay, this is why we're very mindful of our language in this financial philosophy. This is due to the feeling of lack behind the wanting, longing, the yearning, the thirsting, and craving. Sheep don't want because they trust that their shepherd knows their needs. When's the last time you seen a sheep like, I want? No, the sheep are just chilling, and they know that they will be supplied at a certain time, right, by the shepherd, and the shepherd knows their wants, right? So because the shepherd, their overseer, knows their wants, they don't have to worry about their wants. Okay, they can just live their life knowing that they will be supplied for by that which is carried by their ultimate supplier. Okay, because they can't, especially domesticated, they can't go get their wants themselves. Right. So we, through manpower, oftentimes try to go get our wants ourselves, but then we end up getting burned out because our wants are great. And so in order to, if you have great wants, we have to tap into something greater to be able to supply those wants. Sheep don't want because they trust that their shepherd knows their needs. Matthew 6:8 says, your father knows what you need before you ask him. The same is true for you and your mother, father, God, when you trust that all your needs will be met, right? Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you, correct? Wealth consciousness is when you realize I am and I already have. Wealth consciousness is when you realize I am and I already have. So you don't say I want. You say I am and I already have. Don't say I want to be a millionaire. Instead, affirm I am a millionaire. Okay? Your reality corresponds. Everybody types that. Core, C-O-R-E hyphen responds. Your reality corresponds to your core identity. Your reality responds to your core identity. Put in another way, your reality responds to the core of who you are. This is why you get who you are and not what you want. This is why you get who you are and not what you want. See, this just hit me. The outward expression of an apple is based on what? Based on the seed that's in its core. The outward expression of an apple, which is very, very sweet, is based on the seed that is at its core. And so the outward expression of your life, right, if you want a sweet life, it has to be based on the seed that is actually at your core. That seed is your identity. It is your I am. Who are you being, right? So that just hit me, right? The apple outward expression, which we know to be sweetness, is based on the seed at its core. You see how even as I continue to read, I keep getting divine downloads. This is why I keep reading this book. I wrote the book and I keep reading it. I've read it over 10 times now, right? Based on the seed at its core. So I keep learning. This is a never ending process. This is why we keep going through Read Rich and Righteous, and we'll continue to do so because it requires repetition. And we want to get to even higher and higher levels. Who knows? We already got a thick book. I may add chapters though, right? I don't know if I'm writing another one, but I may add to this one. We'll see, whatever God desires. All right. So an apple's outward expression is based on the seed that is at its core. And the same is true for your life. All right. I don't want anything because I already have everything. Some of you aren't ready to receive that seed, but I don't want anything because I already have everything. How can you want something you already know is yours? This is why when the devil or Satan took Jesus to the top of the temple, and we know that was a metaphor or allegory for going to the highest consciousness of our mind, right? Our temple is right here. We go to the height of our temple and was like, I'll give you this kingdom. She's like, I don't need that. I already have that. It's already mine. How are you going to give me something that's already mine, that's already has my name on it? My last name is God. And God created this, and so that's already mine. How are you trying to give me something? You first have to convince me that it's not mine in order for you to give it to me and me think that it's a favor. So many of us have been tricked out of our wealth, convinced that we are not wealthy. And therefore, now we have to go work hard to go get it. What did I say? When they convince you that you're not beautiful, right? Even though you already are, now you go buy all their beauty products. Now you got wigs, you got lashes, you got makeup, you got surgeries. Because they first had to do what? They had to convince you that you weren't beautiful, that God didn't make you perfect, whole, and complete. Are you seeing how it works? The most devilish thing, and I don't perceive the devil as being some outside entity, the most devilish thing or idea, right, in us is the separation from God. That I am separate from God. And I'm not. I'm connected. This is my lineage, right? God is my last name. And so this is really, really important. So I don't want anything because I already have everything. How can you want something you already know is yours? The only difference between a possibility and a possession is time, belief, and action. The only difference between a possibility and now it being in your possession is time, belief, and action. You feel that it is not already yours. You feeling that it is not already yours is exactly what is keeping it from being yours. As John 16:15 says, all that belongs to the Father is whose? Is mine. Is mine. If I'm a millionaire, if I'm a multi-millionaire, then guess what? Jada is already a millionaire. The only difference between her possessing it is her readiness to receive it. And going through this process of Read Rich and Righteous, we are getting ready to get ready so that the moment God wants to use us and express through us, right, and flow through us, not only energetically, but also through currency, we are ready to receive it and be good stewards of that which we are given. We are getting ready to get ready, okay? When you want, you end up chasing something. When you don't want, it chases you. Rather than praying on the thing you desire, you pray to become what the thing desires. That's a bar. Rather than praying, P-R-E-Y, on the thing you desire, you pray to become what the thing desires. Did y'all hear me? Rather than praying or chasing after the thing that you desire, you pray to elevate yourself and become the thing, what that thing desires. Which path is going to be easier, family? Anything you want, you must become. When you become it, it comes to be. You want love, then be what? Loving. You want wealth, then be what? Wealthy. You want happiness, then do what? Be happy. Right? It is the opposite of what we are taught. You don't need money to be wealthy, but being wealthy will draw money unto you. You don't need money to be wealthy, but being wealthy will draw money unto you. I don't want money, which is stored energy, because I am already positively productive. I don't want money, stored energy, because I am already positive, productive energy in action, and therefore money wants me. We have to flip the equation around. I'm going to repeat that. I don't want money, which is just stored energy, because I am already positive, productive energy in action. I'm currency. Therefore, money wants me. I don't want it. This is why I asked you earlier, have you ever asked the question, what does money want? And if you have and are what money wants, then money will naturally be a part of your experience. The money is not naturally part of your experience because you aren't being what money wants. I know you want money, but we are releasing that. We are shifting the power dynamics here. And we're not going to become what money wants in terms of like, I'm going to change for something. No, we just know that when we're operating at a certain level of frequency, when we are blessing other people, when we're being valuable, when we're in our purpose, we know that money just wants to be in our gravitational pull. It just naturally is attracted to us when we are being those things. Do you realize that money needs you too? Because money does not want to be stored energy. It does not want to be dead presidents. It wants to be moving. It wants to be flowing. This is why it's called currency. It is a reciprocal relationship. Money does not have power over you. It is a reciprocal relationship. In the same way that Legos need a kid to put them together because something greater, to put them together to become, in the same way that Legos need a kid to put them together to become something greater, money needs you to become something greater. It needs you. Money cannot do anything by itself in this form. It needs you to become greater. It needs you to turn this into a business. It needs you to turn this into an experience. It needs you. Okay? The stored energy is just potential energy. Money wants me because it hates sitting around doing nothing and being unproductive in a savings account and knows I will put it into action. Okay? Who would you rather date? Listen to this. Who would you rather date? Someone who keeps you locked up at the house and never takes you anywhere, or someone who gives you freedom and takes you out on adventures? Which person would you rather date? So guess what? Money operates in the same way. Money wants to fulfill a potential beyond being a piece of paper or symbol. You are Aladdin, and money is your genie in a bank instead of a bottle. You have the power to make it come alive and tell it what to do. It is useless unless you use it, and it needs a conscious being to give it consciousness. We give cash consciousness by putting it towards ideals, ideas, individuals, institutions, and investments we believe are doing good or God's work. That is our job. Money can't do that by itself. This doesn't have legs. It does not have a mind. It does not have consciousness. We give cash consciousness. We have misunderstood desire and therefore demonized it. The world programs us to believe that getting what you desire is a bad thing. When a child gets everything they want, people say that child is spoiled rotten. Okay, these are the language patterns that are in our collective consciousness and in the culture. A child that gets everything it wants is spoiled rotten. And spoiled rotten is deemed as a what? As a bad thing. As a child of God, I get everything I want because abundance is my birthright. I get everything I want because abundance is my birthright. Desire is a key ingredient to manifestation. Desire is not something evil. They'll tell you, oh, you should never have any desires. Well, I'm not talking about fleshly desires. I'm talking about spiritual desires. Desires to be more, right? To do more and to have more. Desire is one of the most highly charged emotional states. And we know that when thought and emotion combine, what happens? Manifestation occurs at a higher probability. And desire is one of the most highly charged emotional states. Desire out of alignment with God is lust. Okay, so I'm not just talking about fleshly desires. That's the one that gets demonized. Desire out of alignment with God is lust. And desire in alignment with God is love. Desire out of alignment with God is lust. Desire in alignment with God is love. Love is a positive, healthy emotional desire that comes from within. Lust is a negative, unhealthy emotional desire that comes from without. You desire over a man, you desire over a woman, you desire over a car, you desire over these things, right? That's coming from without. Love is a positive, healthy emotional desire that comes from within, right? We want to give birth to something. We want to move in love, which is actually our default state of being. As the notorious B.I.G. said, only make moves when your heart is in it. One of my favorite songs, sky is the limit and you know that you can't own it, right? He said, only make moves when your heart is in it. Some of us out here making moves, checking off to-do lists, but our heart isn't in it. Therefore, we're not in it. Our heart isn't in it. Therefore, we're not in it. And so we're just kind of like robots. Computers move with heartlessly, right? It's more like Tin Man moving through the world. No heart. Okay? Only make moves when your heart is in it. One of the keys to fulfilling any desire you have is getting full of the feeling first. This is what fulfillment means. Full of the feeling first. Everything you desire is usually connected to a feeling we want. You have to feel wealthy within in the present moment before you can feel wealth materially and externally. You must claim it in your mind before you can claim it that it is mine. You must claim it in your mind before you can claim that it is mine. Get it in your head, which is your thinking, and heart, which is your feeling, so that you can get it in your hand, which is your having. Okay? Get it in your head, which is your thinking, right? And your heart, which is your feeling, so that you can get it in your hand, which is your having. Most people think that it's the other way around. They believe that having money will make them feel rich. That is the more difficult path to prosperity. You can access the feeling of riches right where you are through the power of your imagination. You don't have to wait to feel unless you feel like waiting. You don't have to wait to feel unless you feel like waiting. Right? We can tap into the abundance right now. We talked about this before. Wealth consciousness is relating to money like I relate to oxygen. So if I want to tap into the abundance that is my birthright, the easiest thing for me to do is just wow, I have an abundance of oxygen. There's so much oxygen that I don't even have to worry about how much oxygen other people are using. It's just abundance of oxygen out here. I could run a marathon right now and nobody would be disturbed by me consuming that much oxygen. I could have as much oxygen as I want right now. And if I could take that feeling and that relationship to oxygen, God breathing through me, and say, that must apply to every area of my life. There's an abundance of love. If I love on this person, it does not take away from that person. If that person is in love, it doesn't take away from my possibility of love. Some of you looking on social media and you seeing other people in relationships and you think that because they got married, that's one more woman or one more man off the market, and now the numbers are dwindling for you. I actually ran the numbers in terms of single black men and women. And there's this narrative out there that it's a 5-to-1 ratio, this and that, all these black men in prison, this and that. But I actually ran the numbers, and it's about 5 million of each. It's about 5 million of each. No, was it not 5 million? 500,000. It was equal. Okay? There's 40 million black people, 19 million black men, 21 million black women. Then you take away all the kids, you take away all the elders, you just look at 25 to like 44, like marriage age. And I know there are people older getting married and even younger getting married, but just like in general, 25 to 44, you bring that down. Then you subtract people in prison, you subtract people unemployed, you attract people who are in homosexual relationships, right? And then what you're left with is about, then you subtract people with income less than that. Not saying that they can't get married, but you probably shouldn't be getting married if your income is just super, super low. And so when you're looking at like 50,000 plus, you've realized that, oh, there's an equal amount of available black men and black women. Now, of course, from there, you got to go into city, you got to go into spiritual belief system, you got to go into diet, family structure and things of that nature, healing, trauma. Then the numbers can dwindle. But when I actually ran the numbers to combat this narrative that there's this 5-to-1 ratio, black men are scarce and this and that, it's just not true. It's not true. Okay? So, back to the text. We're on page 342. You don't have to wait to feel unless you feel like waiting. Rather than thinking, I will be happy when, right? This is really, really key. I will be happy when I graduate, when I get a job, when I make 6 figures, when I get married, when I buy a house, when I have kids, when I retire. The secret is to be and feel happy now in the present moment and thus attract happy experiences into your life. Yesterday, we talked about happiness not coming from these outward things. Happiness having to be a seed within you that is expressed based on your internal environment and, in some cases, the external environment. Okay? When you use the language pattern of I'll be happy when, I'll be wealthy when, you're subconsciously suggesting that you are not happy now, and thus happiness is only in some distant future when this thing hopefully happens. How many of you have ever said, I'll be happy when? You might have said it out loud to a friend, on a phone call. You might have said it in a coaching session. You might have said it just in your mind, but you think, I'll be happy when this happens. No, you have to be happy now. That thought process will keep you in a state of unhappiness no matter how much you achieve in life, because there will always be something else to grasp for. Okay, after you get married, then what? Are you staying happy, or now is there another happiness milestone to achieve? Okay, now we got to get a house. Now we got to have kids, now, right? And so you're always chasing this thing that was within you the entire time. You were chasing it through external milestones instead of tapping into the happiness that was already within you. Okay? The law of attraction responds to feelings, and the beautiful thing about feelings is that we can access them now in the moment. Whatever you conjure up in your imagination must become a fascination. To fasten or to secure up something mentally is the first step to manifesting it materially. We're on page 343. The truth is that you don't desire money. That's the truth. You don't desire money. How can pieces of green, flat cotton paper help you? Most people want freedom or security, and they think that money is the best way to acquire those feelings. In truth, you want what you think money will get you, and you want the feeling that whatever money can get you will give you. Everybody is looking for ways to convert their money into something greater. Some of you have things in your Amazon shopping cart and some clothing store shopping carts. Right now, you got tabs open on your computer. You're ready to just give your money to someone else. Some of you ain't even got your paycheck yet and got something in your cart, right? Save for later. You're looking for ways to use this money because you know that this money in and of itself cannot do anything for you. Okay? Everybody's looking for ways to convert their money into something greater. Otherwise, it is just sitting there doing nothing except providing a false sense of security. We inherently know that money is worthless. That's why we happily exchange our money for products or services that we think are more valuable than money all of the time. For everything that you think you want, I encourage you to ask yourself, what is the feeling I think this thing will give me? Once you do that, you will uncover your true values. And now your desire is no longer about having things. Instead, your desire is being who you truly are, and there is no greater desire than that. That is the greatest desire in the world, family. Is to be who you know you were meant to be. To do what you know you were meant to do. And to have what you know you were meant to have. That is the greatest desire in the world. The cars and clothes will change. The beaches will start to look the same. The palate will adjust to higher end foods. But the desire to be who you are, fully self-expressed, will never go away. This is why I'm so keen on purpose. If you only half want it, you won't have it. If you only half want it, you won't have it. If you need it, you will receive it. I don't believe in having a plan B. I commit to plan A 100%. And if that doesn't work, guess what I do? I create another plan A. Some of you are like, here's my plan A and I'm 60% committed to that. And if that doesn't work, I got this other thing over here that I'm holding 30% space for. And then if that doesn't work, I have 10% energy going towards plan C, right? So you're split. And dispersed energy is always weaker than focused energy. Dispersed energy is always weaker than focused energy. If you desire something, you have to go all in. What did Nipsey Hussle say? All money in. Go hard or go harder. That's it. Go hard or go harder. Giving 100% isn't only about effort, though, family. It means giving up 100% of your old self to become your new self, which is more attractive to that which you say you want. Oh, give 100%. I know many of you out there working hard and you're giving 100%. But what you're not giving up 100% of is your old self. This is why it's not working. You giving 100%, I want you to think about it differently. I need to give 100% of my old self up. Otherwise, I'm putting effort based on my old self, which is only going to reproduce my old self. I need to give up 100% of my old self in order to become more attractive to that which I want in my life. I don't want money. I need money. The reason money flows to me, right? I'm talking about me personally, and through me so easily is because I need it. I need this money. See, need has a greater energy to it than just a want. Oh, I want this and I want that. No, when you need oxygen, when you need water, right? That has a greater charge than, oh, I want some water or I want some oxygen, right? Need and desire are on the same level energetically. This is why money comes to me. Money is a requirement for me based on who I am, just like oxygen is a requirement for me based on who I am. Is money really a requirement for you? Is a certain amount of money a requirement for you? In fact, your requirement for money is exactly how much you're making right now. That's your requirement. It's exactly how much you're making right now. That's all you require. And this is why that's all you have. You have to create a vision that's big enough for you to require more. right? And therefore, you're going to have to become somebody else to have that. A marathon runner needs more oxygen than a couch potato, and the universe provides oxygen exactly according to each individual's needs. The marathon runner's greater need didn't cause the couch potato to have less. Money operates the same way. The reason most people don't have $1 million is because they don't need it. You don't need $1 million to live the life that you have. I need $1 million to do the work that I'm created to do. Okay? This is why money flows to me. Shifting from a want to a need is important because a need has more desire than a want. People who will do more for what they need than what they want. People will do more for what they need than what they want. So there are levels of consciousness, right? This is Reverend Ike. He said, there's all types of cars. Every time you go to a car website or anything like that, he said there's the standard one, then there's the mid-tier one, same car model, but more features, right? And then there's the premium version of the same car. There is a car at every level of consciousness. There is a car at every level of consciousness. Okay, just because somebody wants a higher level consciousness car than you doesn't mean doesn't mean anything. That's just where they want to operate. That's what they want to experience. If you don't want to experience that, then let it be. And we talked about Ferraris and Rolls Royces before, and how my old perception was to look down upon that, and then how I changed that perception, because I can't say I want to be rich and hate rich people at the same time, right? So an easy way to tell if you need more money is to ask yourself, if I received an extra $1 million windfall today, do I know exactly what I would do with it within like 72 hours? You want $1 million, but you don't need it. If I gave you $1 million right now, what would you do with it beyond fulfilling your own immediate needs and those of your immediate family? Most people would have more than they need in the moment with just $200,000. And then the other $800,000 of it would spoil in a savings account doing absolutely nothing. Over time, you may find a way to give that cash consciousness in a way that serves others beyond you and multiplies it to do more good and more God in the world. But at this very moment, you don't have a real need for $1 million. And that is exactly why you don't have it yet. Oh, Jullien, I pay off my mortgage. I go buy a house and just pay off everything, this and that. That's for your own financial security. That's not for you to do more good and more God in the world. So the reason many of you aren't millionaires is because you don't have a vision that's big enough that requires you or results in you being a millionaire. I need millions of dollars to run the multifamily movement. This is why millions of dollars flow to me, right? And as a result of having a vision and serving and blessing so many people, guess what I get as a result? I get millions of dollars as a result. Right now, you are only thinking about yourself or your nuclear family. You don't have a vision that's bigger than that. And to serve just you and your family doesn't require $1 million. So that's why you don't have it. Are you understanding? Okay. You don't always get what you want, but you do notice how all your needs get met. If you didn't get everything you needed, you wouldn't be alive right now. The body's basic needs are not that much: water, food, and warmth. The reason you don't have more is because you really don't need more at the moment. You may say you want more, but you don't need more. As Matthew 6:8 says, do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. The story of God sending down manna or bread to the Israelites when they were wandering through the wilderness captures how God provides according to our needs. Exodus 16 through 20 reads, Moses said to them, this is the bread which the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Let every man gather as much of it as he needs. As he needs. Take an omer for each person according to the number of people each of you has in his tent. Right? The number that each of you provide for or serve. I serve a lot of people. Okay? Not only my immediate family, right? Not only my team, but all of the multifamily movement members, all of you. And so when I go into the storehouse, I'm able to take a lot because I'm providing a lot. I actually need this much bread. I need some truckloads to be able to serve and feed and bless all of these people, including myself. Okay. I have to eat too. Right. The Israelites did so, and some gathered much of it, and some only a little. When they measured it with an omer, he who had gathered a large amount had no excess. See, no excess was the key. Some of you would take the $1 million and you would have excess. This is why you don't really need it. If you have excess, then you don't really need it. And he who had gathered little had no lack. Every man gathered according to his need, right? Moses said, let none of it be left overnight until the next morning. But they did not listen to Moses, and some left a supply of it until morning, meaning that they had more than they needed, and it bred worms and became foul and rotten, and Moses was angry with them. We are given or able to go into the storehouse and take according to our need, not to our want. The reason some people took more and it rotted, right? They wanted more because they were fearful that God would not supply them the next day. The bread only lasted a day. And so they took more than they needed because they were afraid that it wouldn't be supplied the next day. But if you have true faith in God and you are at the peak of wealth consciousness, you know that all your needs will be met and that you'll be supplied every single day. We're the only animal, with the exception of some animals who, of course, store up and hibernate for the winter. We're the only animal who operates like this year round, just trying to have more because we're fearful that at some point God is going to stop supplying for us. Okay? In this case, every family's needs were met according to the size of their need. It was divine democracy. Everybody type divine democracy, which is fair and just. No family was supposed to have any leftovers. And notice how there was no grumbling about how this family got more than our family, okay? Because everybody got what they needed, okay? The idea of lack only comes as a result of comparison to someone who has more. But if their needs are greater than yours and they too have no excess, what is there to be jealous about? When those who tried to save the manna or bread out of fear of God not providing the next day, the bread bred worms. This speaks to why we should not save money, which is also known as what? Bread. When we do, it rots in the bank because of inflation. Think of God as your angel investor. Would you ever walk up to an angel investor and ask for more money? Hey, I heard you're an angel investor. Can I get some more money? They would laugh at you and ask, more money for what? When you look at a number chart, more is not on the chart. If we look at a number chart, 1 through 100, right? Or 1 through 1,000,000, you realize that more is not a number. On the number line, more does not exist, right? There may be more than what you currently have, but more is actually not a number. No investor will invest in you without being very clear about how it will be used, the amount you need down to the penny, and the return on and timeline of the investment. Luke 14:28 says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? The same goes for God. God doesn't give you more for your own safety and insecurity. God gives and invests freely in children of God who are in alignment with its will and bringing heaven on earth. God continues to give to me and through me because it knows that the buck does not stop here. It knows that when it gives me this stored energy, then I'm going to put it into the highest use possible. I'm going to transmute it. I'm going to give this cash consciousness in alignment with its will. This is why it continues to supply me, because I'm not going to just take this and just put it in a savings account and it do nothing, right? This is why money continues to flow through me. It knows that as soon as I get another dollar, another unit of stored energy beyond that which is in my own body, I'm going to use it for good and for God. This is how we as the rich and righteous have to operate. Now, we can let the Gentiles operate differently. If they want to get money for themselves and just store it for their own insecurity, let them do that. But we are operating differently. This is a new paradigm, right? And I'm leading by example. I'm showing you that this methodology, this financial philosophy is working in my life. My goal is not to accumulate money while I'm here. It is to circulate it. That is true wealth from a spiritual standpoint. But the worldly wealth will say your wealth is based on how much you accumulate, not how much you circulate. But if you look at the parable or the story from Exodus, we are meant to use it and not to have more than we need. Okay? Beyond our emergency fund, right? You get what you require, not what you desire. You get what you require, not what you desire. A requirement is a more powerful pull than a desire. To whom much is given, much will be what? Required. Luke 12:48. right, has double meaning. Not only will more be required of you, but your requirements will also increase. Not only will more be required of you, but your requirements will also increase. So it used to be that I was a one-man show, that I was just a young guy with a laptop, right, trying to change the world. And then as more was given unto me, then I needed to hire a team. I needed to put systems in place, things of that nature. So my requirements increased, right, as I was given more. And so this, again, is why money continued to flow to me, because God knows that I'm doing its work here on earth. And so therefore, I'm God's hands, right? So as a result, God is supplying all of my needs so that I can continue to do its work, right? Not only will more be required of you, but your requirements will also increase. A requirement is something you need, whereas a desire is something you want. All you have to do is hold your breath for as long as you can to get the feeling of a requirement. Right? In that moment, you require oxygen. When you immerse yourself in an unselfish vision that is so vivid and valuable that it feels like a requirement, you will witness money or economic oxygen easily come to you from customers, clients, investors, sponsors, partnerships, lenders, donations, and manifestations from God to breathe life into the vision. I'm going to repeat that. When you immerse yourself in an unselfish, remember, most vision boards are selfish. Oh, I want this car. I want this house. I want to go on these vacations. That's cool, but that's secondary. When you immerse yourself in an unselfish vision where you are serving God's other children, your brothers and sisters, that is so vivid and valuable to you in your mind that it feels like it is a requirement that you must do it, that's when the floodgates start to open. There's a difference between being needy and having needs, okay? There's a difference between being needy and having needs. Needy repels what you desire, okay? You ever had somebody around you just needy, always asking for stuff, right? Just always in need, never having enough, and you give and you just know it's going into a bottomless pit, right? Needy repels what you desire, whereas a real need attracts it. You want to make your desires or wants real needs like water, housing, and food. I need to do this work. My food, as Jesus said, my food is to do what? The will of the Father. My food, that means that it was a need. My food is to do the will of the Father. Right? So this work, my purpose, the Most High Family Movement, rich and righteous, this is a requirement for me like food. It is on the same level of food for me. Okay? Not wanting anything is one of the not wanting anything. Okay. Again, the title of this chapter was Thou Shalt Not Want. Not wanting anything is one of the keys to attracting everything you want. Not wanting anything is one of the keys to attract everything you want. Something becomes a need when you reach a point where you will do whatever you need to do to get it. So when you can try this in the dating realm. Not saying you don't need a man, but saying I don't have to have it, right? Where I'm in my me season, right? When you enter into your me season, what starts to happen? All of a sudden you start attracting all these people, whether you're a man or a woman, you in your me season, you're like, yo, I don't need this right now. I don't need this right now. And all of a sudden it starts coming. So again, not wanting, right? Getting out of the state of wanting, right? Getting out of the state of wanting actually is one of the keys to attracting everything you want. Because again, as the first sentence of this chapter was what? When you want something, you stay in a state of wanting. As Michael Beckwith says, the universe hears I want as I don't have. All right? So something becomes a need when you reach a point where you will do whatever you need to do to get it. Are you willing to do the hard work internally of transforming yourself from the inside out and becoming who you desire to become to easily, Are you willing to do the hard internal work of transforming yourself from the inside out and become who your desires come to easily and effortlessly? Listen to the words, and become who your desires come to easily and effortlessly, right? That is the becoming. When we try to bypass the process, that leads to debt and slavery. A slave, the acronym is steadily living above value earned. A slave is someone who is steadily living above value earned. You needed that high-end car or that big house before you actually earned it and therefore had to take on debt. And now you are bound by the image you've projected on social media and to other people because you pulled up in the car, because you took a picture in front of the house, etc. Now you're bound by that. Okay? This is why one credit card is named MasterCard, because once you spend above your value earned, now you have a new master, and another one is called Visa because your money is about to take a one-way trip away from you and leave you with the emotional baggage. We must learn to discern between wants and desires versus needs and requirements. You must be clear about your requirements because each level will require a different being and doing, which leads to a different having. Rather than saying, I want a lot of money, you must get more specific because money alone won't motivate you for long. Write down the things you want and why, and calculate the cost of that lifestyle. Now you know exactly how much you need, and you've converted a general want into a specific need. From there, ask yourself, what are the feelings that I believe these things will give me? And then ask, what can I do right now to feel those feelings? Get full of the feeling now. Get full of the feeling first. This is how you make your first $1 million mentally. And if you're able to hold that vibration long enough in faith, it must manifest materially. While I want you to have more than $1 million, the question from the game show was, who wants to be a millionaire? The key word is be a millionaire. Okay? Become a millionaire because of who you will become, not just what you will have. Become a millionaire because of who you will become. That is the real joy of becoming a millionaire, not just what you will have. Your needs and requirements of yourself simply aren't high enough or don't encompass everything you desire to experience. When you need something, you don't wait for the conditions or people to change to make it easier for you to get it. Instead, you change yourself. You become better. You become more focused. You become more creative. You become more valuable. The easiest path to everything you want is through you, not through someone else. In John 14:6, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. Now I want you to read that to yourself in the first person as if you are Jesus, right? He's us. And that is an I am affirmation, right? I want you to read this in the mirror. Listen to this because it's an I am affirmation, right? This is affirmation. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the way, the truth, and the life, okay? And you will gain a deeper understanding that the way to everything you want is through you. I am the way. I am the truth. And I am the light. Everything that you want must come through you. You have to convert it from a want, right, to not just a desire, but a need and a requirement. You want it to be required just in the same way that you require oxygen, water, food, and warmth. And if you elevate it to that level, because a need is strongly energetically charged, then your environment will start to shift and start to supply that need for you. Again, that need can't just be for you though. What we found as the rich and righteous is that it is a greater need to serve and bless as many people as possible. Okay? So with that, there is a exercise in the rituals workbook. It's called the Do I Need $1 Million exercise. The Do I Need $1 Million exercise. All right. And so I want you to complete that. Do I need $1 million? It's just one page. It's on page 91. So complete that when you get a chance. For those of you who don't have the rituals workbook, you can go to richrightnow.com/store to get that if you only have the actual Rich and Righteous book. And that concludes today's reading. So in chat, that was a lot. I know we covered a lot. Go ahead and type in your greatest insight or takeaway. There's a lot of bars in here. A lot of bars. Okay? You don't get what you want, right? You don't get what you desire. You get what you require. You don't get what you desire. You get what you require. Another one for me is desire out of alignment with God is lust. And desire in alignment with God is love. Okay? The universe hears I want as I don't have, right? We want to become the person, right, that has that thing, right? So rather than chasing the thing, we want to become the person that actually has that thing naturally. I don't believe in plan Bs. I have a plan A, and if plan A doesn't work, I create another plan A. We don't want our energy to be dispersed, right? We want it to be focused energy. We don't want to say, I'll be happy when, right? Because then that puts our happiness out in the future based on some external individual or event, right? We want to be in the feeling now, get full of the feeling in the here and the now, all right? And many of us are not millionaires yet because we haven't created a vision that's big enough that either requires us to be a millionaire or results in us being a millionaire. And so we got to get beyond in that more. Just wanting more money is not enough. It's not specific. And if God is our angel investor, right, we want to be very clear on what we need and why, and then we allow God to do the how. God keeps pouring into me because it knows that the buck does not stop here. Many of you want more money so that the buck can stop with you and it's just in your possession, right? But we know that the goal is to circulate, not to accumulate, all right? So with that, we will continue tomorrow with how much do you charge. I will be explaining how to see money as energy, right? And we actually get into some electrical engineering tomorrow. So pull up 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that, be God to yourself. Love yourself as God loves you, right? Be master over yourself in the way that God is master over you. And remember that you are God, lowercase g, or first cause in your own life, and no individual, institution, or outside situation has more power over the future of your life than you. I'll see you tomorrow, family. Love you. Peace. What's up, y'all? It's Jullien from the Multifamily Movement, and this is my community behind me. It's 300 of us out here in Baton Rouge for our tour of our commercial properties, our flips, our vacant lots. We're also raising money just to build this real estate portfolio collectively through group economics. So it's so beautiful to see everybody here. We 6 buses deep. This is also our building behind us at Legacy on 14th Street. So this is real estate in real life, and this is real people. This is not just some online community or course. We out here really doing it together as a collective. So this is family, multifamily movement in the building. Everybody say multifamily on 3. The whole crew, y'all. So when you want to learn how to get in the game, much love. Peace.